Exeter Firefighters saw through the roof of an old home on Front Street. This training exercise is a rare opportunity for the department to practice on real buildings within the town. With this particular home approved for demolition in the future, the homeowners lent it to the department to help train their people on important procedures.
We were gracious enough to get this building for training. It's sad to see a historic home be torn down. So for us to be able to get in and utilize those, since our house stock is largely older homes, to learn layouts, and they're all different. They're not a standard layout. It just is invaluable to get into what we primarily would see for houses in this area.
It is definitely harder to get houses like this, so the real hands-on training is a little bit harder to come from. So when we're doing training at the station and stuff like this, we try to make it as real as possible.
Over the last couple of weeks, we've been able to do some interior stuff, so we were able to pull hose lines off the engine and move it throughout the structure, do some firefighter rescues, victim rescues. We've done some overhaul work, so we took apart some walls, and then we were up on the roof cutting holes for ventilation.
On Monday, one by one, different firefighters would take their turns ascending the ladder, practicing their turns using the chainsaw, axes, and hammers to create entry points on top of the roof.
Obviously, roofs have different pitches. The steeper the pitch, the more difficult it is for us to work off of. The shallower the pitch, we're able to walk on without necessarily needing a ladder. But in some instances, we need to step off of a ladder. And by putting a Halligan with a pick on it, gives us a foothold so we can stand on and reach further out to make a bigger hole.
With one shift done, the next shift would try their hand at it the next day. Using a chainsaw, Halligan, and other tools, a coordinated team cuts a hole in the rooftop, releasing hot gases and smoke from within the room below, giving a second team from within the building the ability to see through the smoke better and cool down the room, aiding in finding any individuals left within a burning home. With the roof full of holes and everyone up to speed, it was time to try something new.
In that scenario, they were doing, they call VES, it's vent enter search, so it's a rapid search of a room that we think somebody might be in to check for victims. So what they're doing in that instance, they're trying to get in the room as quickly as they can. And when they're on the ground sweeping, they're checking to make sure that when they come in the window, there's not anybody directly below them. They're sweeping to get glass fragments and things out of the way. And then when they come in, they want to get low to the ground in case there's a lot of smoke that's banked down to the ground. They want to be able to look underneath it and find the layout of the room, because in those situations you can't see anything.
Just as fast as they're in, they're out, with some lessons to be learned along the way. Each day this week, different shifts will take their turns with this building. For some, this is just another day of the week, a refresher on skills they've already achieved before, but for others, this is a new experience altogether.
We had one newer person who struggled a little bit on the roof and just needed to really come back. We did some more practicing at the station, and we came back to to reevaluate that.
It was my first time on a real roof, and it was my first time on a roof that was pitched that steep. I was having a really hard time figuring out how to operate the chainsaw close to my face. I'm not the biggest person here. Just because something is harder doesn't mean that I'm not expected to do it. So just because something is harder doesn't mean that I can't work around it and figure out how to be able to get it done. So figuring out ways that I can work smarter, not harder, as my mentor Tom keeps telling me, has been super helpful.
Training doesn't stop the rest of the world, however. With each time they went up, they were brought back down just as quickly, as emergency calls forced the shift to their regular duties. Not once, not twice, but 3 separate times. By then, hours had passed, and they'd have to try again another time. The following week, Cadence climbed back on the roof.
I was using a size medium SCBA mask, the big mask that we wear on the front. Today I switched to a small mask and all of a sudden felt significantly better. It felt like all of a sudden I had my body mechanics again. I've had to figure out different ways of doing things for myself just because I don't have the same reach as them. I don't have the same length in my legs as them. Last week I ran into issues on the roof. This week I was able to get the cuts done, get through the shingles, and make it happen. So as Tom, I think, has said for the past 9 months to me, at least once a shift, work smarter, not harder.
She did really, really well. So all that practice has really paid off, and she's kind of the one that's really stepped up.
The sacrifice of this old property on Front Street has given the fire department the room to learn, adapt, and develop their skills for when truly dangerous scenarios appear. For newer firefighters such as Cadence, those learned skills become critical when duty calls, keeping our town safer and protected, one roof at a time.